Hello and welcome to What's Up Universe. Are we feeling the energy? It is incredibly buzzing with possibility. It's very, very healing right now. And it's really helping us as we come into this full moon solar eclipse, really helping us to shake off what no longer serves. There is, massive invitation here, of course, for us in many ways, whether that be at a personal level, on an aspect of what is desire and manifestation on a universal level, and of course, looking at what the invitations are in terms of the connection and in navigating, connection as mediums and understanding, what this is all about or what it means for us in moving forward with a more sense of divine purpose. First off, we need to take a look at, the scope of everything playing up. This last week has been, you've probably been feeling it as well. Just there's a lot of density in the energy. It's very heavy. It's very almost creating like feelings of complete exhaustion. At least that's what I've been going through this last week, and almost like a lethargy taking place. And so it's a part of, again, what is looking to be released, what is, as we begin to make room for what is to come. And it's really, definitely giving us uh, an opportunity of consideration for our lives, how we're living our life, the choices we're making, and even the ultimate question of, how may I serve? And it's definitely been a massive reflection for me personally in terms of not only, looking at in maintaining my health and my own energetic equilibrium, but also in terms of how it is that I can best support, everyone that's tuning in, of course, everyone that's a part of this community, and the greater aspects of the work that I'm doing. So lots of reflection, lots of shift, lots of change. And we know as human beings, we're not really, we don't like change, or change can be a little bit challenging for us. But this is definitely, this is all about expansion energy. It's all expansion. So we are, moving through this eclipse energy. Like I said, you might even be feeling that pulsation, or that what may be even some relief that is present or coming up, even though you might still be dealing with a little bit more of this this heavy grounded energy. Of course, we know this full moon is in Taurus, so again, it's the invitation in terms of, our stillness. So it's an earth energy, so it's bringing us to earth in everything. It's having us take a look at our reality of how we're living our life, the choices we've been making, what's been playing out and happening. And we can really look over, even the period of from last year up until now. This is the end of a very intense energy cycle. This is within, the eclipse, bringing in the closing of this doorway. And so if there's anything that you desire to end, like you're really wishing something would end in your life, there's something that needs to come to close. This is exactly, take the action to do that. It's like wrapping up some projects, etc. Even the things that we've been carrying, the things that we've been carrying from our past in terms of our life. We can look at this, as a great analogy, as an example, excuse me, is when we look at, how much a cup of coffee, might weigh. What does this cup of coffee weigh? Well, we can look at the cup and we can think of it in terms of the number of ounces that are in the cup. How many cups is it? It's a cup of coffee. It holds, 6 ounces. And that's not, is that from a logistical aspect of it? Absolutely. But in holding this cup, if you realize that if you consider this in terms of your worries, your fears, your grudges, your insecurities, even the pains and wounds of your past, if you're holding this cup, it's not bad right now. But if you were to continue to hold this cup for another hour, if you just simply hold this cup, your arm's going to start to get a little bit tense. It's going to get weakened. The cup is going to begin to feel heavier and heavier and heavier. And if you go and try to hold this cup all day, you're going to see like your shoulder is going to start to really be like, it's going to be really difficult and hard to continue to hold this up. And this is really where we come into this. It's like an understanding this weight of the past, this energy of the past, the oldness or outdated paradigms and ways we've been living our life. It's like this is the weight of that cup. And so what this energy is doing is really helping us to put down the cup. So it's a great time, as I said, to not only take action of those things that you want to bring to an end, but the things that are, closing doors, saying goodbye to what no longer feeds your soul, what no longer lights you up, what no longer brings you joy into your world. And you can look at that on a personal level, and of course, if you're working within your career, on a professional level as well. So this is a time where, again, where there's so much that's allowing us to free up energy, to free up space in our life, and really make room for what is our next step into higher consciousness. And of course, what would be the next chapter of our own evolution, the next chapter of what is our purpose, our potentials, etc. So it's a real important energy. There's nothing negative about this energy, even though it feels dense and heavy and tough. I mean, there's a lot of negativity going out in the world, which of course we are processing and feeling and working through. However, when we look at the energy itself of what's taking place, this ending of things, this what feels like, oh my gosh, this is so hard for change. It's so difficult. This eclipse is looking to work magic in our lives. And so we just need to, surrender, allow things to fall where they fall away. And again, as we know, with every full moon, there's a lot of karma that is also being transmuted at this time. So again, whether we're on a conscious level, things are falling away and coming to completion, we're putting things down. It's also taking place in terms of what we've been carrying forward with us. And so, this is just an opportunity for us to grow in aspects of more light, of more love, of what would be kind of moving us into a journey of in our journey of what is renewal, of transformation. This energy is very much about death and rebirth right now. So again, we're letting things go. We're changing our course. We're changing our minds. We're making new decisions for ourselves. We've been reflecting, we've been looking, thinking, okay, what is it that I'm looking to be, do, and have in this life, and what's working for me, and what's no longer working, and what do I need to speak up to? This has been a big piece of it. The authentic expression, the truth of the matters of our heart, the truth of what we're, what we have been concerned about, and the truth of how we've been feeling. This is sitting in a water sign. We're looking here as, not in a water sign, but a full moon, dealing with our emotional body. So we have this Taurus energy, which is really grounding and helping us to bring a completion and new beginning. But we've also got the emotional body under a full moon, and now amplified with the eclipse, is really creating some aspects of, I'm going to say the energy here within it of what is the sensitivities, the emotional sensitivities, the sensitivity to the spirit world. And again, the full moons, this is giving us opportunity, which is allowing for maybe some spirit phenomena to be taking place. Maybe even your own soul senses are activated, and there's a receptivity, or there's a charge, so to speak, in terms of those psychic capabilities. This is an exemplifying energy of that on its own, but there's also invitations in here. This is invitations for us to be, true and authentic to who we are. The invitations to get stronger and stronger from spirit, in order for us to, begin not only accepting ourselves as mediums, but also enacting upon and utilizing our connection to the non-physical world in helping to orchestrate and bring forward what it is that is truly calling to us, what lights us up, how it is that we are here to serve. And so there is, as I said, this very emotional tide that is going with this, which means you might be, feeling, maybe really sad right now, maybe really feeling the heaviness or depressed about life. Or even I was, talking with a group of individuals the other night where, we realize that we need to realize as energy sensitives to this capacity, that we are always in connection with what is that energy of depression. And so, or the energy of the anxiety, like all those, I mean, even the energy of joy. I don't want to override that. We're always in awareness of all of these energies around us, but that we can, as spiritual empaths, that we can become more prone to depressive symptoms as a result of our sensitivity to the non-physical world. Why is that? Well, it's because we look at one, death follows us everywhere. And so when we look in terms of death, and which is happening right now, a lot of death and a lot of going on. We're feeling the heartache, the pain, the suffering of the world. I mean, it's there, and it's amplified even with this eclipse energy. So it's becoming more pronounced, and so we become very susceptible to feeling depressed, to feeling down, to feeling hopeless, to feeling all of these things. And for us, as we're really being invited, and the spirit world really comes in, and they've got grief that surrounds them. Like that's why the fourth realm of consciousness is more dense or heavy in weight, is because of it's of higher vibration. We can think of it in terms of heaven, but the beings that we are connecting with have all of this grief consciousness that surrounds them. And what we think of all the aspects of grief, of what, when we're on a grief journey, what that entails. There's the shock, there's the despair, there's the sorrows, there's the sadness, there's the hopelessness, there's the depression, right? And so we become very susceptible to feeling depressed ourselves. And I want to encourage you, especially under this current of energy, because it's so increased or agitated within this cycle of energy, that you really work to recognize the energy as opposed to saying, I am depressed, and owning it. Because again, as we begin to recognize the energy of things, it's not going to become a part of our experience. We can recognize the energy of trauma. We can recognize the energy of grief. We can recognize the energy of suffering. We can recognize the energy of depression without us becoming a part of it. And it's such an important time for us as we're navigating this, because this is our ability to do this, has incredible power in terms of not only how we feel on a day-to-day basis, but in terms of how we navigate the currents of this, especially this particular full moon solar eclipse. So again, just whatever you need to do, of course, in taking care of yourself, this is really, an increased time to be able to do that. I mentioned earlier at the start of conversation, and perhaps maybe not even on, as I was talking to my group, as I just began this broadcast, where you might have been feeling even this week very lethargic, very tired, very run down, feeling as if you had no oomph, so to speak. That's a big piece of this. This has been, this energy has really kind of moved into this heaviness has become more predominant in the field right now, as we're moving into this cusp of energy, as we to our release point. And it's happening. So we've been tired, we've been lethargic, we've been run down. And anytime we're feeling it, always the invitation, what do we need to do? We need to ensure we're drinking lots of water. We're making healthy, vital choices for our bodies in support of vitamins and nutrients and things like that. We're also giving ourselves permission to rest. This is probably to give you an idea of how extreme this energy has been for me this week. Is I have low iron. It's something that's always been from the time I remember being a small child. My iron levels were always a little bit lower, and so low iron is something that my body has always been working through. And of course, yes, I take all of the appropriate supplements and things like that to boost my system. So I naturally kind of feel sometimes a little bit no fire in my chart either. So in the mornings and stuff, I'm a little bit more tired, etc. But this last week, as an example, I've got all of these brilliant practices that help me to be energetically well and know my vitality. And this last week with this energy was to the point of exhaustion. where I would get up in the morning, I'd go through my practices, I'd get my boost of energy, I'd sit down, I'd do my client session. It was amazing. And then when the client session was over, I went to lay down, but not just to lay down and rest. I would actually fall asleep, and I'd have to set my alarm for 20 minutes. I would get like a crash snooze of 20 minutes and a revitalization of energy, and I'd go into the next session. Now, this is something that I normally don't deal with because I'm always working within, as I, shared in the level 1 program, within the expansion meditation, how we're no longer using our energy to express and to show up, for our clients and our healing sessions, etc. So this becomes, where we're working with vital energy in doing this work, where I can go into work feeling really, really pumped up and juicy in energy, and I come out of it feeling pumped up and juicy in energy, and I don't experience exhaustion from doing this work. This last week, my cycle was to sleep, to sleep, to sleep, to sleep. And then coming up to this full moon, last 2 nights, Bonnie, you don't need sleep anymore. It's go time. So just know that it is important to be able to rest. It's important to honor that sacred rhythm inside of you, that sacred rhythm that just says, hey, I'm just going to put my hand on my heart. I'm going to breathe right now. I'm just going to just stretch your body. So your body is feeling this as well. Taurus is all about the body. This is about our physical home here on earth. And so our physical home, not just the roof over our head, but this beautiful body of ours, is requiring extra support, extra nutrition, extra hydration, and a little extra movement. So give your body a stretch and a release, and rotate your head and do something to move this energy. Go for a walk, be out in nature, do whatever you can to support your body in being able to move through this energy, as well as to allow for this energy to move through you. That becomes ultimately one of the ways I'm going to say has been, even though I've been, tired and exhausted this last week, it's also what's allowed me to actually show up with the vitality when I have the vitality. So anyway, I could go on and on about that. Okay, so let's go back onto focus. So here again, we've got some energy that's really, as I said, moving us into slow rhythm, slow rhythm, slow rhythm. And then we have this massive release that takes place. And this massive release, this energy is all about expanding our minds, opening our hearts, expanding our visions, expanding our potentials. And so this is now where we move through this release point. We're going to feel as if we've got massive amounts of energy, things that are, and this energy is going to allow us to see higher perspective. It's going to expand let's say the operational system, so to speak, of our energy system, of all of the soul senses. And so it's really helping to boost our vibration and to lift us, as I said, not only into higher consciousness, but helping us to be connected even more. So connected, this vibration, this expansion, connected to abundance, connected to joy, connected to possibility, connected to the heavens, right? And so here again, lots of inspiration, lots of new ideas, lots of new possibilities. There are going to be, this strong mix of energies are really going to give us not only, again, as I said, we're going through massive transformation and this new beginning, but we're really going to have a lot of oomph behind us and support from those other realms of consciousness in helping us to kind of express and to bring the creations into manifestation. So it's a super powerful time. I had a conversation with another client of mine this last week I wanted to share with you guys as well, in terms of her just feeling like she wasn't making headway or utilizing this eclipse energy to the fullest because she hadn't actually sat down and made any concrete intentions. She hadn't got clear on what it was she was looking to manifest or bring to life, like what her biggest dream was. She was having so many other things going on in her world, in terms of that were demanding attention and needed, again, remember those closings, those endings, within on a personal level, and in terms of what she was dealing with, some family dynamics and some and real challenges within her relationships that took her away from utilizing this energy in terms of what she was looking to create for her life. And so even though she was contemplating about it, she hadn't actually taken action. Well, I want you to know that based on this, even the contemplation, even the reflection, even the consideration is enough right now within it to move us to that next stage of evolution, that next stage of our careers, the next stage of our life. It's happening simply because our mind has been active and engaged and in consideration. Again, this is it's like, don't get overtly concerned if you haven't had time to officially plant those seeds. Those seeds are being have been planted, and there's all of these cosmic forces, everything. This is all about new life and making room for new life. And so this is opportunity for us. Of course, it's happening. We're handing over the past, we're moving forward here through this eclipse doorway. It's intensely healing right now, so we need to be present with what needs to heal. We need to be present with how we're feeling. We need to be present with our health. We need to be present with what's not working, so we can make our decisions and choices. We have to, again, this energy is helping us to really get clear. And just know that anything you've been doing is absolutely beneficial in terms of what is going to enrich and what's going to be planted and what's going to come your way. So there's, just know that this is we're going to elevate after this movement forward, that with this now, as we move into November is really going to help us to not only does a transformation we've gone through start to be recognized, but it's an energy that's really going to help us in terms of having to move forward after having to navigate the change and the upheaval. Things in life are going to look different for us in November. And so this is important for us to be patient, to be gentle, to honor our own cyclical nature, and just know that we have a charged up energy that's going to come, a wonderful energy that's going to help us to get things done, that's going to help us to be motivated, to feel confident, to take those leaps that we in faith. And so again, it's like we bide it and we abide by it, the natural rhythm. We honor everything that's coming up. When we look at it in terms of this connection to the non-physical world, as I said earlier, you're going to be feeling an amplification of those psychic abilities, greater connection with the non-physical world and those loved ones around you. So, even if you're not a clairvoyant or you're not sure that they're there, trust me when I say they're there. There are times during high peak energies like this where it can feel like we're cut off from the spirit world. And I want you to know that it's, as you heard me use the analogy before, we're actually not cut off. We're actually so close to them that it makes it more challenging to maybe receive them. And so it's like, the analogy is like being like super close to your television screen where everything is like very pixelated. And so again, when you take a step back, you can kind of see the whole picture. And so that's what can happen during times like this. So again, you might be experiencing spirit phenomena. You might be having up close and personal interactions with your loved ones. You might even be seeing the ectoplasmic expressions. So you're seeing, their light bodies around you. You might be having, very intimate and very clear conversations. Or you may not be experiencing them at all. And if you're not experiencing them at all, it just means you're like super close to the television set. And so just know and trust that they're there. Talk to them, ask them for your help and assistance in your life. Help, acknowledge their presence, and, just envelop yourself in terms of practicing that that gratitude for their presence, for the awareness of the fact that you know that they're with them, and get them, put them to work. Not only do we receive guidance, but we can actually ask them to help and support and assist us in things as well. So any challenges you're dealing with in your life, ask your loved ones for support. They're not all wise and knowing once they, graduate to the non-physical world, but they do know people who know people, and they have ways of helping us to create miracles where we otherwise felt maybe we had only obstacle. So I just want you to know this is this energy, everything you're feeling, everything you're dealing with, from the emotional level, the physical level, the what might feel like lack of clarity or even indecisiveness right now. You're right on path. In fact, you couldn't be more on path for this energy. So I'm really, just want to send you my love and just know, hey, we're going to ride this wave. We're going to feel through all of this. It's all, as we move forward and see, this is the release of the shadow. We're moving through the shadows. We're moving through the old, the outdated, the things that need to come to completion. And so we hold space for ourselves through this very challenging time, and we hold space for humanity, and knowing that we're all seeking the greatest of all potentials in our lives, and that is ultimately peace. So make choices and decisions that bring you peace. Do the work you need to do to heal anything that's disrupting your own peaceful feeling, your own peace of mind, your own, and create greater expression of that energy in the world, and know that you are happy. You are then contributing to there being peace in the world around us. So God bless everyone, and I'm looking forward to having you tune in next week.